Today is Teacher Tip Thursday, where you get tips from a qualified teacher. My name's Sophia, I'm the 1 in 1.3, welcome to the family. I'm going to kick off the series by talking to you about my 5 favourite products that I like to use when teaching children about phonics. As you can see on the table down here, I've got loads of resources that I use with the children that I teach, and also with family members, and also any child really who's learning their phonics. I believe that phonics is the foundation of learning how to read. To start off, I'd say, in order to learn phonics, children need to learn about the sounds that the letters make. Sometimes when children have come into school, they've learned all the letter names, so they've learned A, B, C, D, E, all the way to Z, and then they can recognise those letter names all the time. But the problem occurs when you're trying to teach that child how to read. The phonics system that I use and that I was trained in is from the Letters and Sound document. Now, the way that I was taught, the way that I was trained in teaching phonics was in teaching them phonics rather than whole words. So I've learned to teach children the sounds that the letters make first before introducing them to the letter names. That is probably the best way that I've seen over my 20 years of teaching. It's the best method that I've seen in teaching children how to read, and I've seen children go so far in learning how to read. I would start off by using flashcards. Flashcards are great. Flashcards is all different. You can get loads of flashcards from different places. These are well used. The children love these and they're really well used. But they have sounds on the back, and then they have the picture on the other side, basically. So that you can play. There's many different ways of using these phonic flashcards. You can, just flash the sound at the child once you've taught it to them. So what you'll do, you'll spend some time first of all teaching them one sound. In school, they normally would learn one sound a day, and then one sound a day for 4 days in a week, and then on the final day, on the Friday, they would review all the different sounds. If you are a homeschooler, you can slow the process down a little bit more. So you might decide to teach your child one sound and go as far as you can with that one sound. It might take 2 days, it might take 3 days, it might take a whole week. It doesn't matter, just go with your child. If you have a child at school, your teacher should send home some packs or some kind of booklets that you can use, which will tell you when they are teaching which sound and when they're teaching that sound. So another good way to do this would be to start off with the sounds in your child's name. So you can tell them that, just say the child's name is Jeremiah. I use my little nephew. So I have my nephew Jeremiah. He's learning how to read at the moment. So he's looking at the sounds in his name. He's got the J for Jeremiah. He's got the E, the the E, the the I, the A, the H. And he's learning those sounds in his name first of all. And his mother is doing a fantastic job. Shout out to Ishani, my sister, 5 kids and Ishani. But the best method would be to teach him the sounds in his name and also teach him phonics from a phonics program. Next week, I'll be going a bit more deeper into which sounds to teach them first, which order to use, and the best things that you can do in order to teach your child how to read. So like I said, flashcards are first, I would say. There is an order. I've got flashcards as well that I have used, that I've created and that I use in my class. So for example, this flashcard over here, it's an A. So you would say to your child, this is the A sound. You wouldn't say A, not at this stage. You say, this is the A sound. Get your child to say the A sound back. A. Say it a few times. A, A, A. And then you keep going like that. You have another sound. You wouldn't say ma. You say and you get your child to say the sound back. Like I said, I'm going to go into that in a bit more detail next week. But for now, flashcards are a really good resource to use if you're teaching your child how to read. Another thing that you could use is an alphabet mat. So again, these are my alphabet mats that I've used. You can get them off the website. I'll talk to you about that at the end of the video. But alphabet mats are really good because you're able to show your child a picture straight away and let them see the sound that it makes. So you have S for sun. This is an apple. What does apple start with? Apple starts with an A. Then we have teddy. Teddy starts with a T. And you carry on like that basically. And I have alphabet mats in my shop for phase 2, phase 3 and phase 5. So you're welcome to download those, but I'll talk to you about that again after. So number 1 was flashcards, number 2 was alphabet mats. When your child has learnt the majority of the sounds at phase 2, I quite like these word lists that I've created as well. So with these word lists, what the child will do, if your child has learnt the sound S, they could try to read words with these sounds in them. Obviously, if it's the first sound they've learned, they might find it quite tricky because they wouldn't necessarily know that the A says A and the T says T. But with practice, you can go through these with them to help them to learn it. So maybe once you've taught your child, maybe 6 or 8 sounds, you can get them to try to put the sounds together and see how many words that they can make. So with these sound mats, it would be and then you get the child to try to read the whole word after. S-A-P, sap. And they try to read the whole word. It seems easier when I do it with you now, but anyone who has tried to teach a child how to read, you will know it's not as easy as that at the very beginning, because the child has to connect each sound together in order to bring it together to make that word, and that can be quite tricky. But when they get it, it's the most exciting feeling. Another thing I like to use with their phonics is whiteboards. Whiteboards are really good in getting your child to practice writing the sounds. If your child finds it hard to hold a pencil or a pen, you could use many different things like sand in a tray. If you haven't got sand at home, maybe get some rice and put it inside a tray and get your child to use their finger to make the sound with their fingers alone. You could go outside and use chalk in the outside area, get your child to write the sounds with chalk. Don't worry, when it rains, the rain will wash it away, it's no problem. You could get them to go on a wall, give them a paintbrush and water, and using the paintbrush and the water, they can write the sounds on the wall and see if they can make that sound. And also just you can do lots of skills with them, like lots of threading and different things to help them with their pencil grip. But again, I want to go into that next week. I'm going ahead of myself. So that was the fourth thing that I like to use, whiteboards, like this one over here. You can see it's been used already. So whiteboards are quite easy, because you just literally can just rub the whiteboard off. Whiteboard spray helps. You wipe the whiteboards off. I'm not doing a good job with that one. So here's a cleaner one. So whiteboards are really good as well to help your child to write the sounds. It's not so permanent, so if the child finds it hard or makes a mistake, they can just rub it away really quickly. Yeah, so whiteboards are really good when teaching your child phonics as well. And then finally, my fifth tip is using books at their level. I'm all about free books. I'm using living books that children can learn, can learn about life through living books. And they're perfect. They're really, really good books to use if an adult is reading it to the child. So you should immerse your child with lots of stories, lots of reading, lots of poetry, lots of memorization, even before they're able to read by themselves. Immerse them in those things, teach them those things, teach them vocabulary words, talk to your child all the time. But when it's time for them to practice reading, it's quite hard to give them like a book about, birds or a non-fiction book, because they haven't actually learnt the structure of the letters yet. So what you would do is use phonic-based books that are more geared to their reading ability. I love Songbirds. I do like the Songbird books because they're all based on the phonetic level that the child is at. So again, in another one of my videos, I'll be talking to you about how best to read books like this to your child, as sometimes there's a few things that parents get wrong when reading books to the children. So there are my 5 top products that I like to use when teaching children phonics. Come back next week Thursday, where I will be discussing phonics in a lot more detail, and I'll be showing you on my whiteboard exactly how you can teach your child how to read. Don't miss it. Also, before I go, I would like to say that I would like to give some of my products away to the first. How do I do this? What should I do? To anyone who's subscribed to my channel, if you're a subscriber to my channel, just say a hi in the comment below and let me know if you would like to have some free PDFs of these I've got the alphabet mat, the word list, and the phonic flashcards. Just tell me which one you want. You can choose between phonics phase 2, phonics phase 3, or phonics phase 5. I will give one set to each person. So if you would like phonics phase 2, that would come with the alphabet mat, the word list, and the flashcards, and I'll give that to you for free. I'm not printing it though, so you'd have to print it yourself at home, but you'll have access to all of these that you can just print and use with your child for free. So I'm going to give that to the first. How should I do this? I've got a shop on Etsy, so if you want to buy these yourself, you can go to my shop on Etsy, but I think for now I say the first 21, that's right, we're in 2021. So the first 21 people, I will send you a PDF copy via your email as well.